Hello and welcome to Kpop Lite, where we fangirl responsibly. I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Rachel, and we are your new K-pop besties.
Eek, we did it.
It's
We're in our first
happening.
episode. I'm so giddy. In this first episode, we are going to explain what we're doing here, what we're talking about, and then also kind of intro ourselves and how we got into K-pop, how we became friends, which, spoiler alert, is because of K-pop, and what led us to be two girls yapping on mics in your
Yeah.
headphones.
And just what to expect too going forward from K-pop Lite. Just to start off, why we started this podcast. I think it started out as an idea where we were talking. We were like, man, it's so fun that we have a K-pop bestie to talk about this stuff with. And we know not everyone has that. And so we wanted to make this a place where you are just brought into the conversation. Lindsay and I have such crazy, weird conversations about
Niche.
different K-pop things. And we talk about it every day anyways. So we were like, let's just record it and have fun and have it be like this light, fun place for us to chat and other people to come into the conversation.
Yeah, selfishly, I want an excuse to talk to Rachel for hours on end about K-pop every week. We do not live near each other, and she is my lifeline that gives me all of my K-pop news and information. So this is also just like a fun passion project for us to dive deeper into the K-pop world, the groups we like, the concepts we hate, etc., etc. I feel like another mission of ours, if you could say, is to just make everyone feel included in the fandom of K-pop. We often have felt like, oh, we're not like as big of a fan as we should, or like we don't know everything we need to know. But then to our normie friends on the street, they're like, you are a psycho fan that know way too much about all of these musicians. So
That's so true. My friends and family think I'm this mega super fan, but comparatively to their K-pop stans, I know so little and
yes.
only know like a few groups and don't know all the vocab and
But sometimes it can be like discouraging when it feels like, how do I keep up?
I
How
mean,
does
I don't
everyone
know
know
how
all of these
people keep
things?
up with all these groups. Like it is a full-time job.
I do what I can.
We do what we can and we have fun with it and it's just a fun hobby. So that's why we're here. We have a lot of ideas and things we want to talk about that we can get into later, but
We literally have about 50 episodes already conceptualized in our brains.
Lindsay is losing sleep over this podcast from all the ideas that she's having.
I lay awake at night and think of the most rogue ideas of things we need to talk about on here.
I just get random voice memos from Lindsay throughout the day that's like, also, I want to talk about this.
You can hear like the traffic in the background. You know, I'm just on a walk, like
Just
letting
walking
my
down the
mind
street.
wander about the podcast. But yeah, basically, we want to say welcome. If you know nothing about K-pop, so happy you're here. If you're the biggest K-pop fan ever, happy you're here. We are fun gals that are gonna chit chat about silly things. We also have like hilarious travel stories and just like unfortunate things that happen on our day-to-day basis that we'll share. So it's gonna be a fun time, and we seriously are so glad that you're here.
I guess to just get into it. So, you guys know who we are. I'm Rachel. I live in Texas. I do marketing and branding for a living. I like to call myself a serial hobbyist because
I was gonna say that in my intro, Rachel. You can't steal everything. Continue.
Yes. Fun fact about me and Lindsay is that we are pretty much the same person in terms
Yep.
of likes, dislikes, personalities, hobbies. So yeah, I feel like I have a million different hobbies. I love to travel. I love to thrift. I like sewing, doing pottery, and I really love hiking. However, not when I'm in Texas because there really is no hiking. So that is only when I'm in other places.
You need to talk about your son.
Oh my gosh, my son! I have a golden retriever named Clyde, and he's my child. I'm obsessed with him. yeah, when we like literally do everything together, I take him to coffee shops and go to the park and shopping. He's like my shadow.
He's the best dog in the world.
He is the sweetest. I know I'm biased, but he is the sweetest creature on the face of the planet.
I'm not biased, and I love your dogs.
I know. Like, some people who, like, my friends who aren't dog people, they still are obsessed with him, and I'm like, that's how you know that he's a great dog. What about you, Lindsay? Who are you?
You stole all of my hobbies from me. But yes, I'm Lindsay. I live in Guatemala. I've lived here for a few years, Antigua, Guatemala, if I need to be specific. But I'm originally from Kansas. And I work in nonprofit communications and marketing. I was also going to say I'm like an avid hobbyist. I feel like people know me as someone that just has like so many random interests and hobbies. I too love to sew and really just do like anything artsy or creative. Like love a painting night, love a little pottery night, etc. One hobby that I have that Rachel actually does not have, which is shocking, is dancing. I do love to dance.
Dance queen.
I do love to dance. I love to shake a tail feather. If there is like music in the vicinity, I can't keep my body still.
Doesn't matter where we are. We could be in the street performers, in a store. Mm-hmm. If Lindsay hears a beat that speaks to her, she is moving and grooving.
You cannot hold me down, girl. They try to, but they can't. No, actually, side tangent. I feel like when we're traveling in a lot of places, it's not normal to like dance in public.
No.
But if there's music on in the store, I am moving, and Rachel gets a little embarrassed. But
no, I love it. It's just it's funny when we're in places like Asia when everyone's so like controlled and like just like looking down, minding their own business, and Lindsay's just like shaking it down aisle 4.
Aisle 4. I'm just trying to bring some joy to their everyday market experience. What else about me? Oh, I like tennis, pickleball,
swimming. Most recently,
swimming. Yes, I might have to get into that later because I'm currently kind of dipping my toes into swimming laps at my local pool, and that has been an interesting experience. So I always say that I'm the girl in gym class that you want on your team. Like, I'm generally good at most things, but I'm not great at anything.
Mm-hmm.
So
what's that phrase? Jack of all trades, master of none.
Exactly. That is me.
Yeah, my motto.
Gonna put that in my Instagram bio. Not really great at anything, but love to try anything.
Yeah, I feel like that's more fun anyways, trying a million different things, and who cares if you're bad? You try.
Yeah, it's fun. But yeah, that's a little about us. I want you to tell the story of how you first encountered K-pop and got into the whole K-pop world.
I thought that I had an idea of when I discovered K-pop, but upon thinking about this episode, I did a lot of reflecting and self-stalking in my YouTube history.
Oh my gosh, this is already a life-changing podcast.
No, it really is.
You're doing so much self-reflection.
I really am. I looked at my YouTube history, my TikTok likes, Instagram likes, all the way back, and I discovered some interesting things. Yeah. It took forever. I was scrolling for like hours.
Thanks for your dedication.
Yeah, anything for the pod. So upon my stalking and self-stalking, I discovered that I had liked a post from November of 2021. BTS, this was on TikTok, BTS, the Permission to Dance concert in LA. And I had liked multiple videos from them, and previously I had thought that I had discovered them in December.
I thought it was the V video of the Squid Games mask.
Yes, so it was that concert, the Squid Game, and then there were several other videos of them that I had liked, V thirst traps, and
of course, naturally,
some other just like concert vids that I had liked on TikTok. And so that's originally I had thought that I discovered them in December, but then upon my stalking, I was like, oh my gosh, I liked videos from them in November. So
you were getting
that was
like
crazy.
primed. You were getting
I was getting
exposed.
primed, but yeah, I liked them, but I didn't like do a full deep dive. I was like, oh, this is like fun to watch.
But then when you saw V's eyes staring into your soul, you said, "I'm gonna have to do a Google search now.
I'm gonna have to find out who that is.
I'm gonna have to.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to do some research."
So then what happened was I got COVID over Christmas. So flash forward a month, and yeah, and you know how COVID, like some people got it and were like completely fine and were like just going about their days like, yeah, I have COVID, but I feel fine. No, I was like severely unwell. Like I was bedridden for multiple days. And so this is when I saw the V with the mask video. And that's when I was like, who is that person? I need to know immediately. And that's when I fell down the BTS YouTube rabbit hole.
As one does.
Many, many days. Like as long as I had COVID, I think it was like 10 days. And I was just in my room, like curtains pulled, just watching YouTube videos of BTS. And I think it started out with like some of the concert videos. And then I quickly got into the like mama performances and everything. And I think I didn't start watching Run BTS until later, but it was mostly like concert performances.
Do you think you saw that video of V on TikTok and then like tried to find that performance on YouTube? Or like
I think I literally just saw that and like saw BTS and then just went on YouTube and typed in like BTS. Yeah. And then that's when it started of like let me try to figure out which one's which. And we all know. We all know.
All been there. No, you say, I will never know who these people are. 2 days later,
there's no way
you know their birthdays, their parents' names, and their blood type.
Their
also.
MBTI, and their blood type. Yeah. And then we can talk about 17. And then you're like, oh, how am I supposed to learn 13? Very quickly learn 13.
Very easily. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into it.
So after your COVID subsided, were you every day like watching music videos, or like what was your next step or fandom? Like were you going to Instagram? Like what were you doing?
Yeah, it was pretty like I feel like 180 after I discovered them. My entire search history just like went to BTS, and I think it took me a pretty long time to like another group, honestly, until you got me onto 17 like much later. So I was pretty much just focused on BTS and watching like all of their performances, all of their interviews, English interviews, Korean interviews, like just trying to consume as much content as possible.
This is the most relatable thing I've ever heard you say.
Yeah, I think after I got COVID, it was like, okay, this is what I'm consuming now. So
this is my new interest. Yeah. I will tell how I got into K-pop as well, which was actually not that long after Rachel did. And to give context, Rachel and I did not know each other at this time. So I believe, according to my YouTube history, that my D-Day, I don't know how to describe the day that I discovered K-pop, my K-Day was March 5th, 2022. What a glorious day it was. So I kind of had a different entrance. It was definitely still YouTube, but as I mentioned before, I like dancing and I love watching dancing as well. And there's an amazing YouTube channel called Steezy Studios. Everyone could check them out. They make the best videos ever. And they had a series, which they actually still do, of like dancers react to blank other dancers. And they did a video to reacting to Jimin dancing. And in that video, they had Brian Puspos, who is a really famous dancer choreographer who has just recently done 7 in all of Jungkook's new videos and whatever. You can see him in all the videos. And yeah, BTS has said a lot of times that like he's their favorite. And so this video was him and someone else watching Jimin dance and yeah, just like talking about how amazing he was. And I had no idea really what K-pop was or who Jimin was, but I said, this man can move. And I did not know that K-pop danced in this way. I really did not. I think the only other time I can remember thinking about K-pop was when I watched the AMAs in 2018. This was during BTS Fake Love time, which I didn't know in 2018. I have since learned about kind of that iconic moment. But I remember watching the award show because I'm like an award show watching girl. I love that. And I just remember the earth-shattering screams every time the camera panned to these young men. I had no idea who they were. And it was just like so shocking, the sound and reaction that was happening anytime the camera was near these men. So I think that was the only connection I was able to make when seeing that Jimin video. I was like, oh, this I think is that kid from that group that obviously has a lot of fans. And so similar to you, kind of the YouTube rabbit hole took me down, which it so often does. And I think I watched more dance videos about BTS that maybe Steezy had, and then moved on to music videos, performances. So it really was all thanks to Jimin and his incredible talent that really caught my eye, my attention. And kind of opposite as of you, I got into Run BTS really quick, I feel like. Like maybe it was served to me or something. But I really dove into that and loved their personalities and the vibes, obviously. And so that was very exciting. And I feel like at that time, I didn't really have like an obsession or like something I was super interested in. So it filled a void perfectly. And just like every night I was watching some Run BTS episodes and loving.
Yeah, this is something we'll get into on another episode, but both Lindsay and I have major fangirl tendencies.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So this is not a new occurrence, this finding something to love and becoming obsessed with it. This is something that has happened many times over the course of both of our lives.
But this is a special one. This is a special one, I will say.
This is a special one, and this has lasted many years now. So maybe it's here to stay.
And it's lasted many years, and thanks to you, like in our friendship, I feel like has kept me so in tune. Like Rachel will bring me back down to earth, send me the stuff I need to watch. So
that's the magic of having a K-pop bestie.
Exactly. That's why we're making the podcast.
Exactly. Having someone to just chat to and like send things to. It's so fun.
Yeah, we all need someone to bond with about our fangirl tendencies. So yeah, that's how we both individually got into K-pop, and then K-pop actually joined us together as well.
Yeah, so the story of how Lindsay and I met is we knew each other through a mutual friend, someone who I went to high school with and Lindsay went to college with.
Shout out Lighty. Love you.
Shout out Lighty. So yeah, I think my freshman year of college, Lighty kept talking about Lindsay, and I think she kept talking about me to Lindsay. And so we were like, oh, like, who is this person? So we followed each other on Instagram, like way back when, and had always been following each other, but never talked, never DM'd, never communicated whatsoever. And then, was it March of 2022?
I wrote down the date.
The exact date that I posted it?
Yes. So we connected Grammy night of 2022, which was April 3rd, 2022, which is only a month after I watched the Jimin video. But I remember already being a big fan.
No, because I remember I like looked at our very first DMs and you were writing like novels. Like we both were writing novels.
I had done work in that month.
Yes. Yeah, you did some major work. Okay, so I posted on my Instagram story the photo of Olivia Rodrigo and V
of BTS
before their Grammy performance of butter, I think. And he's like whispering in Olivia's ear. And I reposted that photo to my story and I said, the most iconic duo. And then Lindsay responded to it. And that's when we were like, oh my gosh, you're into K-pop? You're into K-pop? This is incredible.
Like I feel like we were both like dying to talk to someone about K-pop.
Yeah.
Or like BTS or like make any sort of connection. And I remember being so excited when I saw that on your story. Like, she knows who V is. Ah!
Yeah.
And
because go ahead.
I was going to say that moment of the performance was so iconic. Like, V was just like sitting next to Olivia pretending to talk to her. And I just thought it was so funny.
Oh my gosh.
And so I think my response was like, I need to know what he attempted to say to her.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You responded. You were like, I need to know what he said. And that's when it started. The novels of just the pent up, like needing to talk to somebody about it. I remember just like, because I just went through this a couple days ago and I was like, what did we talk about right after? And it was like, we were talking about like what a good dancer Jimin is and like how incredible a voice Jungkook has and just
checks out
typical fangirl behavior. Yeah. And so I remember being like so thankful to have someone to talk to because I had posted flashback to December, a couple months before when I discovered them. I posted on my close friends story this like picture of me and I was like, does anybody like BTS here? Because I need to talk to somebody about this. And like nobody said anything. So I was like,
no responses.
Well,
tragic.
Not
so sad.
One response. And so I was like, well, I guess I just have to be in this alone. But luckily I only had a few months before Lindsay came into my life. So
and when I say we started talking, like we were talking all the time, like sending each other memes immediately. And you know when you just like meet someone or chat with someone and you're like, oh, the vibes are in line. Like
you're just like, no, you're like, this is my person, like we're gonna be friends.
The humor was like on point, everything. And soon we started to figure out we had like a bunch of similar qualities and hobbies and interests outside of K-pop. We also were born one day apart, which is like part of our lore as well. So yeah,
in the same year. So
yes, literally
pretty much
crazy.
the same age. Yeah,
hours apart. Yeah, so it was so fun, and we're sending novels back and forth.
Yeah, and so that's kind of how we met.
So naturally, I start feeling the need to get myself to South Korea ASAP. Due to my obsession with K-pop, and also Rachel introduced me to the concept of K-dramas, Korean shows.
Oh yes. By this point, I was like deep into K-dramas as well,
and I had no idea about them. Rachel had to enlighten me.
I think I told you to watch Crash Landing on You and Business Proposal, and you watched Business Proposal,
and that's still my favorite of all time.
Loved it.
Rewatched it 3 times.
And so, so then Lindsay was like, we should try to go. And I was like, that'd be so fun. I even photoshopped a photo of us, actually 2 separate photos of us because we had never met in real life. So a photo of me, a photo of Lindsay, into a scene in A Business Proposal where they're walking through a lane of cherry blossoms. And I was like, we're manifesting it. It's happening. And we talked about it for a while.
Yeah, I feel like we just always joked about it. And then one day I was like, I really want to make this happen, and just looked up what flights to Japan cost, and they were $300. And so I immediately sent that to Rachel and said, hear me out. I think we need to make this happen. And thankfully she was like, absolutely, of course.
I was like, there's nothing I would rather do than go on this trip.
Do this. And we literally, I think people think we are insane when I tell this story, but like we had never talked on the phone. We FaceTimed one time. I think like when we were buying our tickets
to buy the flights. Yeah.
To buy the flights. And we had like not really much planning before going on this trip to Asia.
Really.
No.
We had like saved folders of stuff on like TikTok and Instagram of stuff that we saw that looked cool. But I think that's literally all we did.
And deep in my soul, I don't know if you felt this way, but I was like, it's going to be great. Like, I know we're going to get along.
I wasn't worried at all. Like, everyone who I told, they were like, you're going to a foreign country with somebody you've never met before. And I'm like, yes, and it's going to be great. I just know
it was. Like, when you know, you know.
It was so fun. And I do think that we knew that it would be fine. But, like, truly, we just got along so well. We like wanted to do the same things, had the same timelines, and just, yeah, it was so fun.
Not everyone travels well together. And we are like perfect travel partners. We walk at the same speed, fast.
Speed walking.
We also are the kind that are like, wear comfortable shoes because we're out all day and we're not coming back. Like,
oh yeah, we're leaving in the morning and we're not coming back until late at night.
We're seeing stuff. We're being funny. We're going to be asking anyone any question in the street about their life story and making them uncomfortable. Like, yeah, we just travel super well together, and that was just such a special time. We were only together for like 9-10 days. It was, yeah, we went to Japan and then Busan and then Seoul. So yeah, that was just such a fun time, and really the start of it all.
Yeah, I think it was like cool to like get to know each other before and then have that trip, and we're like, okay, solidified, you're awesome. And it was just a great start to such a sweet friendship. And since then we've gone on so many trips in so many different countries because we have to meet up because we're not from the same place. So we just get to meet up all over and hang out, talk about K-pop and other things.
Yeah. It's wild to think about how many trips we've been on.
Yeah.
In just 2
and
years.
I think something we always talk about too is like, I don't know, maybe we would have become friends without K-pop, but K-pop is the thing that made us talk to each other and become friends, like realize we're so similar. And who knows if without that, like if we would have ever DM'd or talked or realized. So it's kind of crazy to think that we might be friends because of K-pop.
It's all to V's Squid Game mask and Jimin's amazing dancing. Thank you so much. Thank you, boys. But yeah, on our most recent trip to South Korea is kind of when we had this idea for a podcast, mainly just because we kept having hilarious debates and conversations about very minuscule things, like what seat in the car would you want to be in if BTS was in the van? You know, who are we sitting by? What position are we getting in?
And I also think that was the time where there was like the trend of like movie theater seating, and like there's members in different movie theater seats, and it's like, which seat would you sit in? And we would have like full on conversations about why this particular seat was the best.
I distinctly remember us talking about which Avatar sign people are.
And like
the
air,
most obscure.
water, fire.
Yeah. And we also will just ask each other the most random questions, like why is RN performing in the military with the saxophone? Like we just bounce each other's questions and ideas off each other. And so I kept saying while we were traveling, like, we sound like a podcast. Like, this is hilarious. I would listen to something like this. And we finally decided to actually go for it. I think it started as a joke, but now here we are. We spent money on mics to record our voices.
And
we're uploading it to the internet
anyways. Like, that's why we decided to do this, is because like we talk about it anyways, so why not record it and let people into the chaos that is Rachel and Lindsay.
Chaos is a good way to put it, girl. Good way to put it. So what would you say is your favorite thing about K-pop? Or what do you think has kept you interested and such a big fan for several years now?
That's a great question. For me, I think it's the content that these groups put out. Like, it's not just the music and performances. Like, it's the weekly episodes of their like variety shows. It's the behind the scenes. It's the interactions that they have with the fans, like posting on social media. And it's kind of crazy to think about the cultural differences between American celebrities and then like in Korea. They just have this more personal kind of relationship with their fans, where they acknowledge them and they like do all these fun things for them to keep them engaged. And I definitely think if it weren't for that like personal aspect, I probably would have lost interest. but it's just those little videos that keep pulling you back in, like Run BTS and then Going 17 and the behind the scenes stuff
so
where you get to
good.
see you get to like see their personalities, and you feel like even though you don't, you feel like you know them, and you're like, oh, I know their personality, and I love watching them do this and have fun. And so yeah, I think it's like more of that like personal aspect and just the behind the scenes that you get to see that you don't really get anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's probably
Totally.
like one of my favorite things. And obviously I love the music. It's so fun. K-pop is just so fun to listen to, so upbeat and happy and joyful. But then, yeah, I think it's just so fun that they do all this extra content for the fans, and I just find it so fun to watch. Like if you're having a bad day, it just make you laugh, you know?
Yeah, I definitely appreciate how fan focused it is. And yeah, there's so much content designed purely for the fans, I feel like, and they keep us fed. I also will
They
say
know what we
keep us-
want.
Exactly. And I feel like they keep us fed in other ways too. Like they're always doing something. They're always doing a crazy new concept for a comeback. They're
Yeah.
always
Showing a new
going on a
side.
show in a crazy outfit. Like they're always having a memeable moment. I just, yeah, everything they put out is so interesting and like keeps you engaged, and it's never boring. Like there's always something going on. I don't know if this is my favorite part, but something I really appreciate about K-pop is the tone and messaging, in terms of like, we're not inappropriately talking about women. We're not really talking about like doing drugs or like dropping money or like anything like that. I
It's usually pretty
appreciate that.
lighthearted and like wholesome, and even like some of the more serious songs, like I know BTS is like known for having more meaningful lyrics and stuff, but even those are like really deep and interesting
introspective,
and like introspective and pretty meaningful and like make you think. And it's never anything that's like a negative influence or negative vibes or anything. Like I do appreciate that for the K-pop songs that I have fully translated into English
and fully understand.
Understand.
I don't think it's ever like, some dirty Chris Brown lyrics or something,
No,
which is like just not my vibe. So
yeah.
I definitely appreciate that. I think too, I've already mentioned this, but I love dance and like performance. So I feel like that's something really unique to K-pop that is just really fun to watch. And there's not like many Western musical acts that have like this many people that are doing this complicated of stage production.
They're not only singing, but doing like full choreographed routines for every song for hours on end. Like, and it is so impressive.
Yeah, and there's always like a story, and I feel like the industry in Korea is just really good at like art direction, and it's just always interesting and really entertaining and fun to see, and just more unique, I feel like, than what there is to offer in America sometimes. And I have always liked listening to music in different languages. I feel like people limit themselves when they're like, I will never watch a movie with subtitles or listen to a song in a different language. Like, I love that. So finding Korean music, which I feel like is so beautiful, the language is so beautiful, was a fun new avenue for me. I also feel like a lot of the K-pop girlies are so fun, and like the meme accounts make my day. Like, bless these people putting their time into making these compilations.
They are so funny.
So funny, and I don't know how they're able to make this amazing content every day. And so I love the community, and I'm always LOLing at like comments on idols' Instagrams and stuff. It's a fun group to be a part of, and like fun to commiserate about like trying to get concert tickets, or like we're all freaking out because someone dyed their hair. So I feel like that's a really fun part about it.
Yeah. I was gonna just add, and experiencing that in real life too when you go to a concert. everyone is like, all the fans are so nice, and like that whole culture of giving freebies and like taking your time and effort and money to make things for other people to bring joy to them, and just meeting everybody, and like everyone's just so friendly, and I feel like it's fun to go to a K-pop concert and just be surrounded by people who are so happy to be there.
It's the best. I feel like we'll probably get into like our concert experiences on a different episode, but yeah, the concerts are amazing. I feel like at a recent concert we went to in Texas, I just had a moment like looking around this huge arena where thousands of people are singing in Korean together with these 11 young Korean men that came to Texas. And it's like one of those fulfilling, like, oh, the world is so beautiful moments, which I need, you know?
Like crossing cultural barriers and looking around and seeing people kind of like attempting to sing one language. Like
Attempting.
it really
yes.
is. Strong emphasis on attempting. It really is beautiful. It was very like, I think both of us had that experience of like, wow, this is so just like unifying, because we were there around a very tumultuous time as well with the election and whatever else. But yeah, to look around and be like, wow, everyone's being so united, having so much fun, cheering for these people. It was beautiful.
It really was. Oh, that makes me want to go to a concert right now in this moment.
Me too.
Well, I guess that's a basic overview of us and our friendship and what K-pop means to us so much. And we have come up with a few segments that we want to do every episode. They're really fun, we think. We think they're hilarious. And the first one is called These Days.
Yes, we have, after watching many videos of K-pop idols and K-drama stars, witnessed that they tend to say the phrase "these days" when they have like English interviews and people ask, oh, like, what's your favorite food? And they're like, these days it's pizza.
Yeah. And we have started to use this where like usually Americans would say lately or recently. Koreans just tend to use it these days, which is grammatically correct, just not what we usually do. But Rachel and I have made it a part of our vernacular. I find myself singing it all the time. So this segment is a time for us to just talk about what we've been up to these days, whether that's what we've been into, what we've been watching these days, listening to, anything we want to share. So Rachel, can you tell us what you've been loving these days?
These days, I have been listening to, and this is thanks to you, Lindsay and I have a shared K-pop playlist where we add songs that we like to it, and she recently added songs from a group called Ampersand 1.
Yes,
and
not Ampersand Sun.
Yeah, not to be confused.
I keep calling it
Ampersand. They are a pretty new group, I think. To be honest, I know nothing about them beyond 3 of their songs that Lindsay added to the playlist that are very good.
Can I tell how I found them?
Yes, please do.
I get a lot of like K-pop related ads on my Instagram. Naturally, again.
As one does.
As one does. And they started popping up for me because I was home in Kansas over the holidays, and they have a concert coming up in March in Kansas City.
Oh.
And so I was getting ads for that concert, and I did not know who they were. So I went to Spotify and looked them up, and they have amazing music. And they're touring the US in pretty small venues this spring. So go check them out if you want to go to a concert in the
venue
US.
near you soon. They have particularly one song called Sheesh, which has been on repeat this entire week, nonstop, obsessed. So that's my first one.
You want me to share one of mine?
Yeah, you go. Yeah.
This is another one that we share, I know, because we've been watching together, and that is Singles Inferno. Okay, we've been watching Singles Inferno. This is our first time ever watching. This is season 4, right? I think.
Yeah, and we have never watched any other season, and there's a particular reason why we're watching this one.
Yes, we do know one of the people on the show this season. So that was kind of our intrigue into wanting to watch the show. And we really enjoyed ourselves.
It's been so fun.
We've been watching at the same time and then just like chatting, texting, live chatting. And it's hilarious and a highlight of our weeks, I think, to do that together. And I will say another thing that I'm loving these days is Dex, who is on the panel of Singles Inferno. Did not know he existed prior to this, and I'm now obsessed with him. He was on an earlier season of the show and then was like the fan favorite and has become an internet personality, does acting, like multi-talented man, and his personality is fantastic. And he does have a full arm sleeve as well.
Big fan.
Thought I should add that. So we do love Dex. So that's something I'm loving.
Dex, yeah. Oh, every time, like, he's one of those people, every time he says something, both Lindsay and I are like, agree 100%.
Yep.
Like, the rest of the
We are
panelists
synced.
were like, I don't agree. But then Dex were like, yes. These days, I've been really into Got7.
Ooh.
Because they had a comeback. Yes, they had a comeback. It's been, I don't know how long, several years, I think. And they're so good. I've watched all of their music show performances for this comeback and some interviews and stuff that they've done, like the dance relays. And I'm just getting all of the Got7 content. And I previously had known only about Jackson and Mark.
Mark's in that
because Mark's from the U.S. So I only knew about them, but one member is really catching my eye this time, and it's JB. J-Bomb, I think is his full name. And this is just a random fun fact, but I found out that he is supposedly the inspiration for a character in one of my favorite K-dramas called True Beauty, and he's the inspiration for a character called Han So-jun. And I saw that when I was Googling JB, and I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. They look similar. Like, they have that like kind of bad boy like vibe. So I thought that was a fun fact. I was like, oh my gosh.
Is the character in the show an idol?
Yes.
Oh my, that's so interesting.
Yeah. Or he's like trying to be one, and he ends up being one. But if you look at them side by side, you're like, oh my gosh, I totally see it. So anyways, Got7's new comeback. Very good.
I need to check that out.
It's called Python, is their single.
Okay.
Very good.
Is that kind of a dark concept then? Kind of
I wouldn't call it like dark. It's like, you would really like how they're dressed and like the vibes that they're giving off, because it's just giving like everyone picked out their outfit. It's cool. You would like their vibes because they're just like having a good time and super laid back and laughing during the performances, just like there to have fun. You would love it.
Just what I need. Another thing to be absolutely obsessed with.
I know. I don't know if I'm gonna go full like committing to standing Got7, but I am a fan of this comeback. It's been fun.
That's amazing. My next thing I would like to share that I've been doing these days is kind of taking a 180 from that topic, and that is my swimming journey. Mentioned it at the top of the episode.
Yeah, please give us a little peek into, I guess, how it's going, why you decided you wanted to start swimming.
Yes, I wanted to be more regular about being active physical activity. I also loved watching the swimming in the Olympics this past year and was very inspired to get in the pool and start grinding. And there's a pool nearby me I can walk to. And so I signed up for free swim, which is like you can just go and swim in a lane. But to be honest, I don't really have experience swimming. I can swim. I'm not going to drown. Like, I took swimming lessons as a child. I know the general arm motion for the freestyle.
What's the little the move that you were talking about?
Monkey Airplane Soldier.
Yes.
Sound off in the comments if you know Monkey Airplane Soldier, which is a stroke you do on your back. Okay. But it's just kind of awkward because in the other lanes, it's these people like really grinding, like knowing what they're doing. And I'm just kind of making up some strokes and kind of just doing some water aerobics. So that's been a journey, but I'm sticking with it. And you might see me in the next
fun.
Olympics. You never know.
New hobby for you. I love that.
But yeah, new hobby unlocked, trying to commit to it, and it's supposed to be like the best exercise you can do. So that's something I've been up to these days.
Love that. Similarly, in the vein of working out, these days I have been into running as a stress relief.
Okay.
And I don't know how long this will last. Again, we do this every week, so maybe check in next week. But my vacuum cleaner broke the other day and it made me cry, and I just needed to clear my mind, and I was like, I'm going on a run, and it worked wonders.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I came back with new perspective. I was like, why did this vacuum cleaner make me cry? That's silly.
I'm so impressed by anyone that can run, because that's not a skill that I have.
Oh, it was not a pretty sight, I'm convinced. It was also very slow, so whatever you're imagining.
You did it.
Yeah.
You did it. That's such a good stress relief. Like, I'm glad that you know that, like, if I'm feeling in a funk, get out on the streets.
Exactly, because I mean, it's like I'm dying the entire time, so I can't really think about anything else because I'm barely able to breathe. So I'm like, there's no room for anything else.
Yeah.
I just gotta get home safe.
No, gotta get my feet back to my door. No, I feel like that's similar with swimming. It's not like I'm like able to have crazy thoughts. I'm like, okay, gotta get my mouth out of the water to take a breath. I'm not to the point where I can like have deep thoughts. So glad we both have some physical activity going on.
Any other things these days?
I don't think I have any other things that I'm dying to tell you about. I feel like the Ampersand one really is what I've been loving listening to these days.
Yeah, that was a great find.
Yeah, thank you to my Instagram algorithm for showing that to me. I'm sad I won't be at the concert. I would love to see these young men.
If you were in the US, we could have gone, but
that would have been fun. Next time. Come back, Ampersand one. So our last segment of the show is what we're calling the Ment, which if you've been to a K-pop concert or watched one online, you know that towards the end of the concert, they always take time to give a Ment, which is basically a speech. They thank the fans, say any like nice sentiments to them, anything they need to share, get off their heart. I feel like there's often like viral clips of like things people say in their mints too. But it's really special. It's like a thing that all K-pop acts do, no matter how many members are in a group. Like even if there's 12 people in the group, they all take time to one by one say something to the crowd. And it's really nice and cool that they take the time to thank fans and do that. So we're going to use our time to, wrap up the episode, say any last thoughts, any things we need to tell you, and close every episode with a little Ment. So Rachel, do you have anything to share?
Does Ment, is that short for sentiment? I don't even know.
Probably.
Okay, love that.
Oh my gosh.
Just a little ending sentiment.
That's a new knowledge unlocked.
I don't know if that's true or not, but I just look that as you were saying that. We need to research that.
Next episode, we will come back with the definition.
Yeah. I guess this was just so fun to chat as we always do, but hopefully other people can find us and enjoyed it as well. And if you are listening, so thankful that you're here. We just want this to be a fun community of people who love K-pop. So if that's you, again, whether you're a casual listener or a full-on stan, we are so glad that you're here.
Yeah, I just want to echo that. We are so happy if someone's listening. That's very cool.
If anyone's listening.
We're really thankful. And this is just such a fun passion project for us. Like, we have enjoyed putting this together so much. And we're so excited for what's to come because we have so many fun ideas and things planned. Which, speaking of, we have fire content coming out on our Instagram, which is at Kpop Lite Pod, KPOP LITEPOD. Okay, for those wondering.
Yes. So follow us, Instagram, TikTok. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube.
Yep, we're doing video.
Follow us
Watch
on
out.
Everything. Yes. And if you also have been a part of the K-pop community, you probably have heard the phrase "stay by our side."
Yes.
That's something that a lot of K-pop idols say in interviews or when they're writing cute Instagram or social media posts. They write "stay by our sides." So every episode, we are going to end it by saying like, subscribe, and stay by our side. So yeah, thanks for listening. We hope to catch you next time.
And remember, fangirl responsibly. Bye.